In just the last hour, we heard from immigration advocates after a clash between federal agents and protesters yesterday. Here's some background. It started just after 10 a.m. yesterday outside Bro-Tex. That's an industrial business near University Avenue. Community groups rushed in, thinking workers there were being targeted for immigration enforcement. Federal agents wearing FBI and DEA markings clashed with protesters who tried to block vehicles from leaving. Our cameras captured the physical confrontation. Agents also used a chemical irritant on the crowd. Right now, it's unclear if anyone was detained in connection to immigration. St. Paul police tell us it was informed the search was related to a, quote, criminal investigation into a business. And this morning, there was a rally outside Bro-Tex in St. Paul. In fact, it just wrapped up in the last few minutes. We'll take a listen to what was said about what happened just yesterday.
A St. Paul dad and his brother who would move heaven and earth to put dinner on the table for their families, who were forcefully zip-tied and removed from this premises. There were many brave observers on the scene. I had a person peacefully documenting and recording who texted me and said, "It's not fun to get hit with pepper spray. I learned what it's like to get tear gassed." Folks that were there peacefully documenting that were forcefully assaulted and shoved by officers who were physically injured. And I need to mention to you a really brave person I got to know yesterday. A St. Paul youth who called me. How brave to make that phone call. She made that call to my personal number. I'm a stranger to her. She doesn't know me. But she received my contact from one of our constitutional observers. And she called me and she said, "That was my dad, and that was my uncle."
We stand with families.
We stand with families. And she was brave enough to put that trust in our hands, and we were able to connect her with our legal supports and our legal partners. And we thank you to those, you know who you are, who are in this group today.
Now, we also heard this morning from the future mayor of St. Paul, Kali Her. Here's what she had to say.
I stand here in front of you as a refugee who came to this country, as somebody who has stood up to defend our undocumented communities and received huge backlash for wanting to make sure that they had the health care that they deserved. And now to sit here as the mayor-elect and watch this happen and unfold in our city, I want you all to know that I am standing with you, not as somebody who is in government, but as somebody who is from an impacted community, who has watched people from my own community who are American citizens get detained by ICE and held for days until they could prove that they were American citizens. When that happens to our communities, it is not just that they were detained and released, that they lose jobs from not being able to go to them, that their families that relied on them cannot, the children who needed their parents to be there to give them transportation to school do not have them, that there are huge ripple effects to what happens when our families are targeted in this way.
I want to just thank the groups that were here and were helping out and on the ground. Because of what you did, our community is safer and better. I am committed to working with our groups and to ensure that we are able to deploy people with the resources that they need in order to be good constitutional observers. And so know that I stand with you. I am with you, not as a mayor-elect of this city, but as an immigrant, as a refugee, as a community that has been impacted by this.
Our Frankie McLister was at this vigil this morning, and we'll have a report for you live in our news at noon.